Hey guys, Chris here, aka Bricknit, and today I'm joined with Steph as well, aka Mrs. Bricknit. She's been doing a lot more stuff on the channel this week. So, last week we bought Diagon Alley and we did a pretty cool review. I think it was pretty in-depth, but if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. I'll put a tag at the top. But Mrs. Bricknit is more the Harry Potter knowledge person. Now, she's no expert by any stretch, but she has at least watched the films more than once. I've only watched them once. So, what we thought is, we've had the set for a whole week now, and we absolutely loved building it. I think it's great, and I don't think they could have fitted more into that set, to be honest, for the price. But there are things missing. So we thought we'd label our top 3 things that are missing from Diagon Alley, and what they can include in the future. Now, this is because we were looking at the Harry Potter Castle that they've been doing, where they each year bring out another modular section which can be clicked on to create the entire Hogwarts Castle. Now, we have an inkling that Diagon Alley may be the same as that, so we think that that's why stuff like, you know, the bank and things like that aren't in this at the moment. So what are our top 3 things that we'd like to see coming up? Well, let's check it out. If you're new to the channel, like watching some awesome LEGO videos, then how about subscribing, because we pretty much do a video every single day. But let's get into this. Okay, so if LEGO were to create 3 more sets for the Diagon Alley, these are the ones which we would expect to see in the future. Starting with, top of the list has to be Gringotts Wizarding Bank.
So Gringotts Wizarding Bank appeared in the 2011 Diagon Alley set. It's a firm favourite among Harry Potter fans, and many were disappointed it wasn't included in the 2020 Diagon Alley set that's just come out. It's a key part of the Harry Potter stories, and Harry and Hagrid visit it in the first book when Harry goes to get sort of some of his money that his parents left him, and then later you find that Harry, Ron and Hermione rob the bank, amazingly, to get the Horcrux from Bellatrix Lestrange's vault in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. If I'm really honest, I'd love them to recreate this scene for LEGO Gringotts and include the dragon on top of the bank, which they use to escape. If you combine like the scale of Gringotts, which is so much larger than the other shops in Diagon Alley, and then have the dragon on top, it create a really dynamic and interesting display to the alley and create a really great focal point at the end.
So yeah, I think that would be absolutely fantastic to have as a full set, because if you think the one that we had recently is 5,444 pieces or somewhere around that. So with that, I reckon they could easily do like a 2,000-3,000 piece set, which would make Gringotts Bank clip onto the front, which would be absolutely awesome. And then you could save a few of those pieces also for the dragon on top. That would be wicked. Also, there was an older set that actually had the Gringotts Vault, if I remember rightly, and it had a little like train carriage that kind of went down. That would be absolutely awesome, but I don't think they'd be able to do like the under Gringotts really, because obviously the modulars fit onto a base plate, so you'd have to go underground for that. But if we did get it, that'll be an awesome addition to add as a little mock build, definitely. So in at number 2 is Knockturn Alley with Borgin and Burkes.
We've got Knockturn Alley's sort of entrance from Diagon Alley, and it'd be lovely to actually extend that out and create the alley itself. Knockturn Alley has quite a gloomy, dark tone to it, so it'd be really interesting to have this kind of contrast to the colourfulness we've got with Diagon Alley, showing kind of this different side to the wizarding world. Now, Knockturn Alley, and in particular Borgin and Burkes' shop, appear in quite a few of the Harry Potter stories. In fact, Borgin and Burkes also appeared in the 2011 Diagon Alley set along with Gringotts that we mentioned earlier. Harry Potter ends up in Knockturn Alley in the Chamber of Secrets when he uses Floo powder for the first time, and he says diagonally rather than Diagon Alley, and he lands in the fireplace in Borgin and Burkes. And it's here that Harry is grabbed by the hand on the mantelpiece, which I think would make a really cool thing to kind of recreate in Lego form. The other thing I'd love to see if they did a Borgin and Burkes shop would be the Vanishing Cabinet. I know a number of people were hoping that might be a free gift with Diagon Alley, which we got something else instead. We got the lovely Brickheads. And Harry hides in the Vanishing Cabinet when he accidentally ends up in Borgin and Burkes, when the Malfoys kind of come into the shop. Then later on, it's a key part of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, where Draco Malfoy creates a passage between Borgin and Burkes and Hogwarts, allowing a group of Death Eaters into the castle. So I think overall, like, the darkness and grunginess of Knockturn Alley would make an awesome contrast to Diagon Alley, and there's probably quite a lot of objects and scenes that could be created in the Borgin and Burkes shop.
See, that'd be a pretty cool one to have, but I think the darker thing, actually, I don't think they would want to do, because it's such a colourful set. I mean, it was pretty much a friend set, so I don't think they're going to do that one, me personally. Would be a cool addition. I just don't think it is, because a lot of people already moan about light bluish and dark bluish grey used all the time in Star Wars sets. If you start adding that to Harry Potter, people are even moaning like M&R that the box was a bit too dull for the Diagon Alley because it's London. That is just what it is here, guys. We have umbrellas as a daily carry. So anyway, so yeah, that'd be pretty cool, but I think that one would be a later one, so that's my opinion anyway. But finally we have, another one which would be pretty nice, is the Leaky Cauldron.
So Leaky Cauldron sits at 1 Diagon Alley. It's a key entrance into Diagon Alley from the Muggle world. Harry and Hagrid pass through what can only be described as a kind of grungy old school pub, and then enter Diagon Alley using the special method of pressing bricks to get in. And I'd love to see like the pub recreated with kind of a play feature where you go through the wall into Diagon Alley. I think that'd be a really, really cool kind of feature to the set. I think you could also then create the rooms above the Leaky Cauldron. So in, I think it's the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry arrives via the night bus and stays at Leaky Cauldron in some of the rooms they have above the pub. So it would be really cool to capture that kind of part of the stories in this set.
I think if you did get the Leaky Cauldron as well, you could almost have that as the front and then the Gringotts bank as the back. So it'd almost create like a round, you have the full alley then. But what's really interesting is when you clip them together, they can actually be clipped apart as well. So you could add shops in between if they wanted to do that in futures. So that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what else shops are missing, so if you let us know in the comments down below which ones you'd like to see, that'd be pretty awesome, and we'll probably maybe add it to a later list going forward when we see some rumours on future sets. But I think one additional thing we'd like to see that weren't shops is in the next ones, we really don't want to see more Harry and Hermione and Ron. We'd love to see just generic wizards. We haven't had that, and I do think it's something that's missing from the set, because we only had 14 minifigures, and sadly it just doesn't really fill out the streets like it should. Because if you look at Diagon Alley in the movies, it's crazy the amount of people that are there. And I think they've done that quite well. The Mos Eisley Cantina, they've started adding more aliens. Obviously Harry Potter doesn't have aliens, but it does have lots of generic wizards that we don't know the names of. So I think that'd be really awesome to get in upcoming sets. But that's our thoughts on the next 3 sets that might be coming out for Diagon Alley. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and whether we've hit any of these, and which one would you like to see next. Maybe it'll be coming out summer next year, or maybe it'll be starting to be more of a winter thing that they do each year. But other than that, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel, and have an absolute awesome day. If you enjoyed the vid, then if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. And as always, keep bricking it.